I never thought marriage would become a place of silence in our bedroom. I knew passion couldn't stay blazing at the same intensity forever. Life accumulates, work, bills, exhaustion, endless routines. Yet I believed there would always be a flicker of desire, some spark to hold on to. My name is Michael. I'm 42, and Laura and I have been married nearly 15 years. For most of that time, I convinced myself we were okay. But okay falls apart if you examine it closely. In the early years, life with Laura was vibrant. Road trips, spontaneous nights out, laughter that felt endless. She was sharp, fiery, teasing me in ways that made me feel alive and loved. Even when the routine settled in, there were still small touches. A brush of her hand in the kitchen, long kisses before bed. Then those gestures slowly disappeared. First, I made excuses. She was tired. Teaching high school drained her. I didn't complain. I handled chores, mowed the lawn, gave her space. But months became years, and the closeness that had once bound us together vanished. I tried to bring it up gently, never wanting to sound demanding or ungrateful. One evening I said, "I miss being close to you. I miss feeling like us." She sighed, looked away, and muttered, "I just don't feel that anymore. I don't get turned on." Her words hit me like a blow I hadn't anticipated. She wasn't angry, not cruel, just blunt, cold, matter-of-fact, as if announcing we were out of milk. Before I could process it, the kitchen door swung open and her younger sister, Chloe, stepped in. She must have overheard. A half-smile didn't reach her eyes as she looked at me and said, almost teasingly, "Maybe, let me handle it." My heart froze.
I blinka, sartain ide misiart.
Chloe was only 28. Everything Laura was not in that moment. Where Laura had grown distant, Chloe was bold, candid, unfiltered. But this was more than blunt. It was dangerous. "Chloe, that's not funny," Laura snapped, finally facing her sister. "You don't just say things like that." But Chloe didn't flinch. She leaned on the doorframe, arms crossed, gaze fixed on me. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. If you're not giving him what he needs, don't be shocked when he looks elsewhere." Her words detonated between us like shrapnel. I glanced at Laura, expecting her to refute it, scold Chloe, anything. Instead, she shifted uneasily, lips tight, offering no defense. And in that silence, something shattered. I had spent years justifying Laura's distance, convincing myself marriage required patience, enduring the dry seasons. But Chloe's cutting remark ripped the veil away. It wasn't temporary. Laura had chosen to step back from intimacy, and I had been too afraid to admit it. I pushed my chair back slowly. The scrape echoed through the still kitchen. Laura's eyes widened. Not in guilt, but irritation, as if I were making a scene. "Michael, don't start," she muttered softly, but my chest burned. I turned toward the hall, my pulse roaring in my ears. Behind me, Chloe's voice came again, quieter this time, almost private. "Hey, wait." Her tone had shifted, not mocking, not sharp, almost concerned. I didn't turn back. My body felt trapped between anger, humiliation, and a flicker of temptation I hated myself for noticing. I stepped outside onto the porch. The night air bit at my skin. For the first time in 15 years, I realized I wasn't just married to Laura. I was stuck in a version of myself that no longer existed. And Chloe, with a single reckless sentence, had forced me to face it. I stood in the darkness, breath clouding in the cold. For years, I had swallowed the emptiness, telling myself marriage was about safety, endurance, stability. But what is security if it feels like suffocation? The door creaked behind me. Light spilled onto the porch as Chloe stepped out. She hesitated, then spoke softly. "Michael, I wasn't trying to make things worse, but you can't keep living like this. You deserve more than being treated like a roommate." I didn't respond immediately. Laura's flat words echoed in my mind. "I don't feel that anymore." Finally, I said, "She's my wife. 15 years. You don't just walk away from that." Chloe let out a small, almost sad laugh. 15 years doesn't mean much when she checked out 5 years ago. I turned to meet her eyes. No flirtation now, only truth, and I hated how right she was. Inside, I could hear Laura rinsing dishes as if nothing had happened. Avoid, minimize, bury, that was her way. But I couldn't bury it anymore. "Chloe," I said carefully, "whatever you meant earlier, this isn't about you. It's about me deciding if I can keep living in denial." She nodded, arms folded against the cold. "Fair enough. But if you stay, don't complain when the loneliness consumes you." Her words stung with a truth I'd been avoiding for years. I went back inside. The warmth of the house felt suffocating. Laura glanced at me from the sink, annoyance flickering across her face. "Are you done?" she asked, as if I were throwing a tantrum. Something inside me snapped, not with rage, but with clarity. "No," I said firmly. "I'm done pretending." Her brows knitted in confusion, but I didn't wait for argument. I walked to the bedroom, pulled out a suitcase. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for scraps of affection, excuses, or permission. I was choosing myself. And maybe, just maybe, that was the only way to finally find the love I'd been starving for.